It's an unlikely setting for an investigation into a bikie. But in this wealthy Sydney suburb is a man police suspect of selling a deadly drug. And he's no saint. He's been convicted of manslaughter. He's done time in one of New Zealand's toughest prisons. He's been deported several times, but he just keeps coming back. And now he's under police surveillance. The target is Shain Oien. It's 2001, and a new illegal drug is emerging on the Australian market. It's methamphetamine, known as ice.
It is the new scourge. I am concerned that we risk losing a whole generation.
It's highly addictive with deadly consequences. It's killing about 100 people a year, and police suspect this man, Shain Oien, is getting rich from it.
He was a proud member of the Bandidos. He was only a nominee. But in saying that, he had access to and commonly associated with high-ranking members of the Bandidos outlaw motorcycle gang.
Even police who have seen plenty of crims know he's not to be messed with.
Well, I'm telling you, Lisa, they don't come much more dangerous than that.
So being a bikie and a convicted killer, you'd think Shain lives rough. Oh no, Shain lives the high life. He's a harbour hugger, and he's set up in a waterfront property in Elizabeth Bay in Sydney. Fair to say it's not your usual Bandidos hangout. Drive-bys here are to check out how many million the place next door went for. One of his neighbours regularly makes it onto the list of Australia's richest men. Shain loves to travel, coming in and out of the country and the state using false names.
It was nothing for Shain to wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning, book an air flight, and board a plane at 12 midday 2 hours later, and fly down to Victoria for a couple of days. It's just the kind of bloke he was. There was just, nothing was a hurdle, nothing was an issue. He just did whatever he wanted.
And police suspect his jet-setting lifestyle, the ability to take off whenever he pleases, and the place where he lives is being paid for with drug money. See, Shain doesn't have a job. Well, not a legal one anyway. This is police surveillance footage. Shain, the suspected drug lord, is in the white shirt. Police have been watching Shain as he travels, but he plays it safe in the open. So police need to get inside Shain's apartment. They get a warrant and are able to get into Shain's house when he's not there. The footage you are seeing is real. Police are now inside Shain's apartment, and they have to be quick. They have no idea when he might return. Police head straight for the kitchen, an unlikely spot, but these seasoned officers know exactly what they're looking for. They've come prepared with tools to take a sample of drugs if they find anything. They go to the freezer. Inside is a suspicious package. It may look small, but that find in the freezer could be massive.
Can I get a yellow powder?
That yellow powder could be what they came for, the methamphetamine, known as ice. And this is one of the first investigations ever done in New South Wales into those who are selling it.
Get a better view of it. Take the lid off and get a better view of it now.
Now, it doesn't look like much, but if that is ice, on the street, Shain could sell that tiny tub for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Police take enough of a sample to work out what drug it is and how strong it is, but not enough that Shain would notice. They have to be quick and put everything back exactly as it was. Then, police are out of there. The tests on these samples confirm there is methamphetamine, high-grade ice in Shain Oien's freezer. But now police need to know how it got there and exactly how deep is Shain's involvement in drugs. Detectives watch Shain Oien as he comes and goes from his luxury apartment, but there's only one way to know what goes on inside.
The next part of the investigation was to monitor what happened in his home.
Police installed cameras and microphones they'll be watching non-stop. It's Shain's criminal behaviour police are focusing on, and it takes less than a day to get it. Shain checks on his drug load, the ice. He will sell that ice, and police will be watching. Not only are they targeting Shain, they are now targeting anyone who buys, sells, or makes drugs for him. 24 hours later, Shain has a makeover for coffee. Their cameras are still rolling, and police hear them chatting. No idle gossip here. This is a breakthrough. Police are about to get evidence that Shain is a bigger player than even they thought. He really is the Iceman. You are watching the inside of a drug dealer's apartment. He's a bikie, but this isn't in some dodgy part of town. This apartment is in one of Sydney's most affluent suburbs, and police are about to hear Shain Oien talking about ingredients to make the deadly drug ice.
Can you get the phosphorus? Which one? Phosphorus. Man, I know we are. So you're already on that level where you're actually getting raw materials, raw basic compounds, and where I'm still just a level away from that. But I am in that circle where I can get access to it if I actually look. I know what I mean.
Hypophosphorus, when mixed with other chemicals, turns simple cold and flu tablets into the lethal drug ice. And Shain wants huge quantities. The amount he's asked for could make almost $1 million worth.
So what's raw? Hypophosphorus. Hypophosphorus. Yeah, it comes in 44 gallon drum. So we'd be quite happy to buy some 10, 20 litres of hydro. Save a lot of
He had aspirations to move up in the criminal world and to make a name for himself. That was Shain.
Police have had the cameras in Shain's home for 9 days now, and they're about to get another piece of evidence. Shain is in the kitchen with something in his hand. He takes it to the freezer. Could this be a new batch of methamphetamine, ice? Police need to know. They need to get into his house again to see what's in the freezer, and if it's drugs, to test it. Police have to be careful. They know this is a crim who's been around the block. And if he gets any whiff of a police investigation, he won't be caught.
It'd be nothing for him to drive down dark alleys, seeing who followed him. He'd drive around a roundabout, do 2 or 3 laps of a roundabout to see. Everyone's got to keep driving past.
The only place he truly feels safe is his home, and he has no idea police are there too. And the very next day, with another warrant, police are about to get into his apartment again. The cameras indicate no one is home. They ring the doorbell just to be safe. No answer. Then, all of a sudden, someone is actually home. The police have to think quick. The wrong answer could blow it.
Hello, Linda?
No, wrong place.
Is that you, Linda?
Wrong place.
Sorry, I must have the wrong unit.
Detectives have to call off the search, but Shain's girlfriend seems to be suspicious. The next day, she tells Shain what happened.
Hello, Shain. I'm okay, how are you? Someone kept buzzing me yesterday, and they were here really early, and I got up once, and I just waited to see how many times they buzzed, so I picked it up, and I didn't say anything, and I said, Linda! They were asking for Linda, so I just hung it up, went back to bed, and they buzzed again, so I said, sorry, you've got the wrong number, there's no Linda here, bye.
Ironically, police are even watching the phone call. Police just have to wait. They still have to go in to check what could be in the freezer. It's not long before Shain's girlfriend leaves. Now she's out of the way, police strike. They have to be quick though. They have no idea when she'll return. Fast, but precise. They grab both containers from the freezer,
That's the first container.
taking a sample from the new batch.
We'll take a sample from the lid.
It's nerve-wracking. They have to be long enough to get what they need, but quick enough to be out of there before anyone comes home. And then they're out, gone, with their sample. It's another one of those tough calls for police. If they arrest Shain now, they'll never know where he's getting the drugs from or where they're headed. But they're about to get a lead. 2 days after they secretly entered his apartment, a mysterious visitor, someone police haven't seen before, turns up on their cameras. She's quite at home. She knows where the cling wrap is. Detectives are watching as she grabs the batch of ice the police tested from the freezer. It seems like she's taking the ice with her. But to where? Is she an ex-girlfriend ripping him off? Is she a buyer? Is she a courier delivering the drugs from Shain to someone else? This woman has no idea police are watching her right now. She's in a suspected drug dealer's apartment and has just helped herself to his load of methamphetamine, ice, in the freezer. But police have no idea how she fits in, whether she's robbing Shain Oien, the target, or if she's a courier or a buyer. And if they pounce on her as she leaves, Shain could easily find out. Police tailed her, following her through the streets and to Central Station, and they watch as she jumps on a train to Victoria.
As that train arrived in Victoria, she was stopped and searched, and located on her, again, was near 2 pounds of amphetamine that Shain had again arranged to be transported to Victoria for supply.
The news of the arrest gets to Shain the very next day.
We needed the drug. We needed the drug, and we needed the lab.
And that's why police can't arrest Shain just yet. Sure, they're closing in on him. They know the drug courier was at his house. They know he's selling illegal substances, but they need to know where the lab is, where it's being made. They decide to focus on the places Shain visits regularly, and some of those are normal-looking properties in Sydney's western suburbs. This is police footage and audio.
Heads up, guys, I've got the Musso in the driveway. Shain's here, red T-shirt.
His bandito mates who he was hanging with, we knew who they were. We'd monitored Shain meeting them. We knew who they were. We knew they knew how to cook drugs. They had prior convictions for cooking drugs. And it was obvious that this team together had got together for one idea. That was to cook drugs and to make money. That's what they wanted to do, and that's what they were about.
Cooking drugs. That's the term for making these methamphetamines, this ice. They're made up of 4 different ingredients, and they can vary depending on what the drug maker can get his hands on. And it's dangerous. Any excess heat, and it could explode. So the police need to know if the cook, the drug making, is going on inside the house. And the only way to know that is another hidden camera, of course. It doesn't take long for police to work it out. They've hit the jackpot.
And then, 30 weeks before the party.
This is where the drug ice in Shain's freezer is being made. They see scales, they see gloves, they see a drug lab. And police are about to get a bonus. The man wandering around without his shirt on? Well, he's about to take a batch of the methamphetamine ice back to Shain's place to refine even more. And the police cameras are waiting for him there too. That real footage is the final coup for police. Watching this drug lord's den has paid off. And now it's time to arrest Shain and his associates.
About 5:30 a.m, we had a substantial briefing with a large number of police, as we were planning on issuing a large number of search warrants. Shain was a big man. One thing we had in our mind was, if he wants to fight, it's going to take a lot of people, a lot of us to stop him. He was a big, big boy.
Detectives are about to arrest a bikie for supplying methamphetamine, known as ice. They are striking first thing in the morning, trying to catch him off guard.
Police! 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 Keep it down! Get it down! Hold it down! Hold it! Hold him down!
The look on Shain's face was priceless. This was the last thing he was expecting. He thought he was safe in that unit. And there we were in his bedroom with him and his girlfriend.
This is the real footage of Shain Oien, the drug lord, handcuffed, arrested.
Could you state your full name and date of birth for the video, please, Shain?
My real name? James Wilson.
James Wilson.
Multiple names, multiple identities. His real name police didn't even know till now. And he's not the only prisoner.
You understand that? Yeah.
Shain's mate Simon, who brought the meth over, decided to stay the night.
Last night. What time did you get here last night?
So he's there when police do the raid. He rents the house with the lab. So they'll take him down too. And what's in that overnight bag? Tools that could be used to make drugs.
A bachelor set of scales.
Police recognise those scales from yesterday's cook at the lab.
Shain, do you wish to say anything at all about the contents of this bag?
Nothing.
Okay. Mr. Caesar?
Items in the freezer.
This time, police find containers of methamphetamine in the freezer. That is worth $680,000. That contains almost 7,000 individual street deals. That's how strong this drug is. They also find cash from previous deals.
Behind the T-shirts, also on that third drawer, is some money. And before we start counting this, do you know how much is there?
No. Oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
How much is that?
22.
22. And what are these bundled into fives, are they? 12, 13, 14. So we have $26,800. Do you agree with that, Shain?
Correct.
He still has no idea that police found out about his dealings from a tiny camera inside his own home.
We formed the opinion that we should aim at the top of the pyramid and take everyone down below him. Shain, he was the man that everyone wanted to know. He was the man that had to go, and if we got him, we knew all his mates would come down with him as well.
You open up. Yeah, Corey, is it?
At the same time, police take down the other men they saw cooking up the drugs.
You just want to come downstairs. We've got a search warrant to search the house.
And yes, there's even more evidence. A recipe for the deadly drug.
Different references to glass, weights, indicating some sort of chemical process.
And yet more of the killer cocktail.
There's two clear plastic sealed containers.
Corey, the detectives found these two containers in the freezer compartment.
Just here.
Can you tell me what they are? Sorry? You don't know? Is that yours? You haven't seen it before?
Those tiny tubs have a street value of more than $200,000.
It was 0716 hours.
The lab is searched too, test after test, and they all turn up positive for methamphetamine.
It's also come up alarms for methamphetamine, so quite a high reading, so I'm looking at.
It's all proof of the crimes that were going on. The courier caught in Victoria with the methamphetamine from Shain's apartment pleaded guilty to trafficking a drug of dependence and was sentenced to 12 months jail, suspended for 2 years. Shain's associates, Corey Thompson and Simon Benefield, were sentenced to 4 years for conspiracy to manufacture a large commercial quantity of a prohibited drug. Shain's girlfriend pleaded guilty to concealing a serious offence and received an 18-month sentence. The main man, Shain Oien, also known as Mark Wilcox, and James Wilson, was charged with supplying and possessing not less than a commercial quantity of a prohibited drug. He was sentenced to 12 years jail.